Week 3 of the NFL was absolutely nuts. There were a lot of upsets. Fins up, baby. Fins up. I'm in a great mood. You're going to get a 2-round 2023 NFL mock draft later. It's a great day. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. There were a lot of movers on my power rankings, and we will get to my predictions for week 4 as well later in the video. So let's go ahead. Start with 25 through 32, starting with the Jets, a new team at the bottom, and it is the Jets. Yet they are, I will say, there's 2 winless teams in the NFL, but the Jets, I think, by far look like one of the worst teams in the NFL. There's just this team. I know they get Wilson back in a few weeks, and hopefully that'll help propel them up. But the offensive line just hasn't been it. I know they lost Becton early. Fans not playing too well. Lincoln Tomlinson, the big free agent sign-in's not playing well. When it comes to the defense, there's a lot of frustrations with the defense. The secondary had a lot of goofs last week. Whether that's like some of the inexperience, like with Sauce, there was a big mishap in the secondary with that. But the secondary play just wasn't that good this week. So they're here at the bottom at number 32. And then 31, we got the winless Texans, the 0-2-1 Texans, a team that play competitively. I will say that, but it looks like they're going to be a top 5 team when it comes to the NFL draft. They kind of play up to their competition. I know it's like, oh, okay, their only real game, I guess, was like, you could say the Colts, a game they let the Colts get back into it, but the Colts didn't look that good to start the year. You got the Broncos, but the Broncos, they're a very talented team, but a team not playing to their potential. Part of that, was the new coach, the new quarterback, them just not kind of gelling off the bat. But the Texans, they just look like a team that is lacking the talent. They move back 4 spots. And then I have the Seahawks here, actually played in a pretty fun game against the Falcons this past week that came down to the wire and ended 27-23. No one scored in that fourth quarter. Gino was throwing the ball, man. He really was. It was kind of wild. But the Seahawks, though, I think they're still going to probably end up being one of the worst teams in the league here. And then I have the Bears, the 2-1 Bears. Let's talk about this, because I know a lot of people are going to have problems with this, but the Bears just aren't a good team. Justin Fields hasn't looked good. He just hasn't. You don't trust Justin Fields. When we're going to be talking about the Bears as a team that potentially could take a quarterback in the draft. Like, they don't look like they trust their quarterback. Keep in mind the new regime there with Matt Eberflus. They aren't tied to Fields. That's not their quarterback. If they feel like they want to go in a different direction, they very well could if they're drafted in a position to do so, and I think they will by the end of the year. They won this against a winless Texans team. They beat the 49ers in a rainy slop storm, and they got annihilated by the Packers. I just don't think they're a good squad, so they're gonna probably remain at the bottom of this list until things change with that. I got the Falcons moving up a couple spots. You beat the Seahawks. I would still say they're probably one of the worst teams in the league, though. The defense, there's some. I will say the defense looks like that some aspects of the defense looks pretty nice. Still, pass rush kind of a concern there in Atlanta, has been for years. And offensively, they're fine. It's just they're just not one of the top teams in the NFL, not even one of the Midland teams, I'd say. The Washington Commanders, man, honestly, this team doesn't look all that bad. Really, but they had a tough game this past week where they had to face the Eagles, a division rival there. Carson Wentz looks like he's really just going to be a bridge quarterback for whoever the next regime is there, because I imagine that they're going to go ahead and just fire everyone there. It just kind of feels like they're trending in that direction. But hey, dude, Panthers. Here's a positive. Panthers, they don't move a spot despite getting a big win over the Saints. And let's be honest about this Panthers team. Offensively, they don't look good. They were honestly, they were. If you take away a couple of their big plays, they're not in this game. Like, the defense is playing pretty good. I'm a big fan of the defense. They could use a bit more pass rush. They really just have Brian Burns, and that's about it when it comes to the pass rush. But the secondary has been playing good. It's just my biggest concern is this offense. It's very uninspired play call in, and honestly, whoever takes over the Panthers, I think there's a lot of talent there for them. They're a quarterback. I really feel like this team might be a quarterback away. Raiders, they are the other winless team. They are the only 3-loss team in the NFL. And to be fair, they're losing to good squads like Tennessee. Keep in mind, Tennessee, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC last year. You also have they lost to, who else did they lose to? The Chargers, right? I'm trying to put this all in my head right now. I don't know. Regardless, the offense, they're always slow out the gates. They had that heartbreaker against the Cardinals where they controlled that for 2.5 quarters. They looked like they were gonna run right through the Cardinals, and they just didn't. Like, it's time to hit the panic button on the Raiders. So how will you gotta imagine they'll turn the ship on this around eventually, but I don't know. We'll see. For me, it's kind of scary. On to 17 through 24, and I got the Lions and the Giants not moving a spot despite losses, and they were tough losses. Like, Detroit was in control of that Minnesota Vikings game until the end. Kind of rough. I still think they're a good squad. They're kind of like this next tier of teams up, and it was just a rough loss. It was a game that felt like they should have won. Now they're dealing with some injuries there with Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Swift, or DeAndre Swift. So, yeah. And then you got the Giants. They got 2 wins. Thank you. Appreciate it. Need a little iced coffee. It tastes great. But they lost to the Cowboys here on Monday night. And it's just you look at it's the quarterback, man. You look at, granted, they're not getting a lot of help from rookie Evan Neal, but he's a rookie. I expect him to be better going into the future. I mean, look at Andrew Thomas, easily their best offensive lineman. He had a very slow start to his rookie year. Rookies are supposed to be bad. That's just the case. But DJ Daniel Jones, I don't see him as a quarterback of the future here. So this Giants team, I think they're going to be playing a lot of teams very toughly. But as of right now, this is still a bottom of the league type of team. Steelers, very, very another team with a very uninspired play call in. Mitch Trubisky's just mitching it up in Pittsburgh. The offensive line, their run blocking is just not that great. The defense, honestly, not half bad. And I mean, they were able to play competitively the last couple of weeks without their best defensive player in TJ Watt. So they moved back a few spots, but I feel like this is kind of the floor for this team, at least right now. We'll see going into the future. Patriots are going to be missing Mac Jones for the next couple of weeks. They had a tough loss against the Baltimore Ravens, where they were in the game at certain points and whatnot, but losing your starting quarterback, that's got to be tough. Saints easily had one of the worst performances of the week. The offense didn't really come alive till late in the game. No, Jameis is playing hurt, but still, I think they're a team that can turn this around. I think they have the talent to. The defense needs to kind of step it up. More so the pass rush. That pass rush for a team that has like Cameron Jordan and Marcus Davenport, I think should be getting to the passer much easier than this. Then the Titans, big win. They needed this win against the Raiders, and they got it. The run game finally came alive, but still, you look at that team, and there's concerns with the offensive line. How can Derrick Henry be the engine to this offense with the offensive line kind of in this state? Taylor Lewan's out. Honestly, Tannehill's not. I don't think he's playing bad football. I think he's all right. At least he's a Midland quarterback at this point. The defense is going into the year dealing with a big loss in Harold Landry, but the defense has played reasonably okay. So they're here in this kind of like middle to back of the middle of the pack. Hey, let's talk about though the Cowboys getting it done with Cooper Rush. This team, I think they could keep a decent record until Dak comes back, even if it's like he's coming back too early from a broken thumb, I believe he has. So we'll see. The Cowboys are keeping it competitive. A lot of people counted them out after the Buccaneers game and the Dak injury. They were like, oh, they're going to be picking in the top 5. I'm like, nah, calm down. I think this team, they could at least be competitive, and they have. They've been very competitive. They've managed to win 2 games with Cooper Rush. So this team's being able to keep it together. Cardinals moved down 1 spot. Didn't expect them to beat the Rams. The defense, the quarterback room is, in my opinion, still one of the worst in the league. Good job. I'm sorry, I'm still not talking about the Chiefs. We'll get there when we get there. But yeah, with the Cardinals also offensively, it's just they're just not getting it done. A lot of miscommunication on routes this week with Kyler Murray and his receivers. Hopefully that gets better as they get healthier and they get guys back, as like Rondale Moore. Hopefully comes back in the next few weeks. I believe he didn't play this past week. They saw Dortch in there. And they get D-Hop back after week 6. So I think a lot of positives moving forward with this Cardinals team, but they still lost. On to 9 through 16. Biggest mover on my list this week was easily the Jacksonville Jaguars going into Los Angeles or San Diego, whatever you want to refer to them as, and annihilating the Chargers. This Jacksonville team, I don't want to say they're for real, but they might be for real. Like, that defense is playing well. Josh Allen's having a good year. Trevor Lawrence is making big throws. Like, he's got weapons. The offense is playing well. Watch out for the Jags. Because that AFC South is winnable. It is winnable, and they currently lead the AFC South. The Cleveland Browns. Good on the Browns being able to get a win. Brissett actually looks pretty darn good. He's able to operate and manage the offense. The defense is still, I think, pretty solid. Unfortunately, Myles Garrett getting in that car accident this past just a couple of days ago. Hopefully everything's okay with him going forward. Don't know if it's kind of optimistic he'll be back this week. Don't really know the specifics of the injuries he suffered, but thoughts and prayers out to him. Colts, huge win. Needed that win. They needed that win against the Chiefs so freaking bad, and they got it at home. This is, for all intents and purposes, this is a veteran team that their vets will come through. The AFC South is manageable. It's winnable this year with teams like the Titans not looking good. The Texans, they may be competitive, but they're not going to be. I don't think they're going to be in a run-in for the AFC South. If anything, the Jags should be scaring the Colts, but the Colts, they move up 5 spots with the big win over the Chiefs. Niners, they moved back 1 spot, and it felt like they lost that game. Not that the Broncos won that game. It felt like they lost that game because the defense did a hell of a good job, and the offense just wasn't able to move the ball and sustain drives. You had that goofy safety that could have been a pick 6 if Garoppolo didn't go out of bounds in the backfield, but I move them down 1 spot. I still think they're one of the better teams in the NFC. I think they're probably going to be still a playoff team in the NFC. Minnesota, they were 1 o'clock. Kirk Cousins got it done. As long as it ain't prime time, there's a chance. I know that Dalvin Cook's a little beat up, but it sounds like he'll be able to play moving forward. They were able to get it done against Detroit, another team that feels like this wild card spot team for the NFC. So they move up a spot with a big last second win against the Lions. Bengals, they got a win. I didn't feel like moving them. Because I think a lot of the teams ahead of them are currently just playing better football. Par for the Broncos, but it's been good to see that the offense has come alive for the Bengals this week. So good on them. The defense is playing good ball, so they're here at 11. Broncos at 10. Didn't move them a spot despite the win because really didn't feel like they deserved that win. I don't know what's going on with the play calling there. It's silly. They kept Melvin Gordon in, and I don't know if he got more touches or outsnapped Javonte Williams, but he should be. He had 3 fumbles, I believe. 2 or 3 fumbles in that game. Like, it was kind of ridiculous. Russ is not cooking. This offense isn't cooking. They haven't been able to take many deep shots this year, and it'd be really nice to see them at least try. I know that secondaries this year are pretty tough, and they're trying to take away the lawn ball, but still, the defense though playing really good football. Chargers, they moved down 5 spots, and there is some concern there in LA if you're the Chargers, because now you lose Rashawn Slater for the season. Now you feel terrible about both tackle spots. JC Jackson has been playing a little beat up. I don't know how long Joey Bosa will be out, so now there's a lot of like, oh crap, we're banged up, we're hurt. Herbert is playing through injury, like, we're banged up, we're hurt. We just lost at home to the Jacksonville freaking Jaguars. Like, what the heck is this mess that we are in? So, like, I'm not ready to hit the panic button on the Chargers, but I'm getting close to that panic button on the Chargers. Things are getting a bit scary. On to my top 8. Rams, they don't move up any spots because they were expected to beat the Cardinals, and I still think that team is working out some things when it comes offensively. At least the offensive line has looked better since the season opener against the Bills, but still, the Rams, I'm not all that impressed with them. The Buccaneers moved back 5 spots in a close loss to the Packers, where they should have had the 2-point conversion. It was just the play calling just came too late, resulting in that delay of game, and then they weren't able to convert on the 2-pointer against the Packers. Their whole receiving core is just banged up from, you got Godwin, you got Julio. I think Mike Evans comes back this week off a suspension, so that's huge. But Tom Brady's having to do a lot with not a lot. The offensive line has been banged up for the most part this year. So like at least the defense is still playing like really good football. Baltimore Ravens and the Packers, despite wins this week, they don't move up any spots. I mean, you're in the top 6, so it's kind of hard to move up without big wins. And just the teams ahead of them, I think, had bigger wins. For instance, my Dolphins being able to beat the Bills. I didn't want to move them up higher than this, though, because that game was very losable. Like, Tua basically should have thrown a pick 6 to, what was it, Matt Milano, I think. You have the butt punt, which is hilarious. The defense is playing good football. They're blitzing. They're playing a lot of man coverage. The offense has been playing pretty good, but still, I would say for the Dolphins, it's like you won this at home early in the season. I want to wait and see. They got a big game Thursday night against the Bengals in Cincinnati, so let's see what happens there. And then the Chiefs, they don't move it down a spot because I still think Patrick Mahomes is playing really good football. The defense was all right. Yeah, I just feel like how they lost that game was just like botches on special teams, and just I feel like they just were unable to move the football. Like I feel like Mahomes is being let down by his receivers, but going forward, I think the Chiefs will be fine. They still have arguably one of, if not the best quarterback in all of football. So there's that. Hello to the Philadelphia Eagles. They're at 2. They rise up to number 2 here. Annihilated Washington as they should. I moved them up this far because their early season schedule is kind of cupcakey, though teams like the Jags that they'll have this week looks a little bit tougher. They got, I think, Dallas after the Jags, which Cooper, you can't sleep on Cooper Rush, but still, like, they don't really have, like, their schedule's pretty easy compared to a lot of the other teams here at the top. So I feel like they'll probably sit around in the top 10 for quite a bit. So until the sketty gets a little bit more serious. And then the Bills. Listen, like, I still think the Bills are the best team in all of football. They played a very good team in the Dolphins in Miami and almost won that game. They just needed to get in field goal position, and things didn't work out the way they could have. Josh Allen's playing really good football. So, like, yeah, no, the Bills are still a top team, even though the Dolphins beat them. And I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm trying to be unbiased when I put together these rankings and this list. So I'm gonna keep them here at number 1, and let's see how they do this week. So let's go ahead and get into my predictions for week 4 of the NFL. And if you love fantasy football, check out Underdog Fantasy. They do weekly fantasy pick'ems. They have prop bets. So if you're into that stuff, use promo code Broshmo when you sign up. There's a link in the description below. But let's start with the Thursday night game being my Miami Dolphins coming in, and they're the underdogs after a big win. They're the underdogs to the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are 3.5. I would take Dolphins money line, just because I'm a Dolphins fan. I love betting on my team, even though sometimes it ends in despair. This is a Bengals team that they need to get wins. This is going to be a tough matchup. This is going to be a fun matchup. This is a really good Thursday night game. I'm excited to go watch it. So I'm going to lean with my Dolphins here. I'm going to ride with my Dolphins, and that's usually been a recipe for disaster, but I'm gonna ride with the Dolphins. You could take them plus 3.5 if you want. And then let's go ahead to the Minnesota Vikings versus the Saints. Minnesota enters this game as a 2.5 point favorite. I guess let me pull up the injury reports real quick. NFL week 4. Because I'm kind of curious about, oh my goodness, who am I curious about? Dalvin Cook. Like that's the one I'm the most interested in right now. By the way, Vikings 2.5 point favorites. If you didn't know, now you know. Yeah, Dalvin Cook is considered day-to-day. And he's dealing with a torn labrum, though that they knew that going into the season. So, sounds like he's going to try to play through it this whole week. So, yeah, that's good for him. Saints, as far as I know, no real big injuries. Michael, like they're talking about the toe with Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry dealing with some soreness in his foot, but it sounds like those guys will also be ready to go. The Saints need this victory. Vikings, I think will be moving in the right direction here. I know this one's at home for the Saints, so like it's hard not to take Saints plus 2.5. But I kind of lean Vikings. It will be an early morning game though. This one's not even a home game. It's being played in London. Yeah, so I'm taking Vikings then. It's not even a home game. I was like looking, I was like 6:30 my time. What the heck? But yeah, no, I'll lead with the Vikings in this since it's not going to be in the Superdome. That's crap. You lose a home game because you got to go play in Europe. That's trash. All right, on to the Cleveland Browns versus the Falcons. Yo, straight up, Browns are only 1.5 point favorites. Give me Browns money line. Listen, Falcons, they haven't looked bad to start the year. They've been competitive in games, and I know like in week 2, that game got ahead of them against the Rams, and they came soaring back. But I still kind of lean to the Browns because they just got more going on for them. They defensively, they depending on Myles Garrett, they got more going for him defensively. Let's actually see if I can find an actual. I got nothing on Myles Garrett right now. So even if he's out of this game, I still feel good about the Browns. Do I? I don't know. This one's kind of up in the air for me now. I think I lean Browns just because. I mean, this is a Browns team that lost to the Jets. And like I feel good about this Falcons team offensively. I think I'm switching. I'm thinking I'll take the Falcons plus 1.5. But that's kind of a toss-up game. That's gonna be an interesting game to watch. On to the Commanders versus the Cowboys. Cowboys 3.5 point favorites. They're at home. I think they can get it done. I want to lean Commanders just because that plus 3.5 looks nice. I haven't really mentioned over-unders, but over-unders 41.5. I believe it. I would take the under in this game. But, like, Micah Parsons has just been a monster. Like, didn't have a sack against the Giants, but he wreaked so much havoc. Like, he's been a cause of a lot of sacks, even if they don't appear like sacks in the actual, like, in his actual stats. Like, his pressures have been insane. And Carson Wentz has been doing terrible under pressure, and we know that Trevon Diggs could make you pay for that. He did it to Daniel Jones. So I think I would lean Cowboys. I would lean Cowboys money line. I don't know if I'm taking the 3.5. On to the Detroit Lions versus the Seahawks. This one's easy for me. Lions 4.5. I would just take Lions on the money line, just because the Seahawks, they're still. I think they're still a tough team, but let's take a look at the injury report for the Lions, because that's kind of wild, because it looks like that DeAndre Swift's gonna miss some time. Tracy Walker's actually gonna miss the rest of the season. While Ross Brown doesn't look like they have anything about him in the injury report right now. Obviously, a lot can change between now and Sunday, but yeah, no, I feel good with the Lions at home. This is a very tough Lions team that honestly they shouldn't have lost to the Minnesota Vikings. They shouldn't have let them get him back in that game, but yeah, I would lean with them. With the Seahawks, they're right now like this. The Seahawks, I just don't think have enough talent offensively, and Jared Goff's playing good football. Like, it's not like he's entirely playing like mistake free, but he's making enough big time throws to make me believe in them in this game. Tennessee Titans versus the Indianapolis Colts. This is a huge game, and I would go with the Colts. I'm not taking the 3.5. I would just go Colts money line. Titans, it's like they can't lose this, right? This is a tough call. Like, Colts, they need wins. They need wins. Like, this essentially, like, early, you want to do good early on, because like that AFC South is going to be nuts, especially with the Jags playing good football of all teams. So it's like you don't want to start this far behind the 8 ball. Though the Colts playing at home, it's kind of easy to lean them. Though if I'm a betting man, and I am, I might take the Titans plus 3. The Colts offense can't really get pressure. That defense, I think they could keep Derrick Henry in check. but I don't think they're going to be getting a lot of pressure to Tannehill. And Tannehill's not playing bad football. It's not like he's playing great football, but he's not playing bad football. So I would take over under is 42.5 too. Ugh. I would lean Colts. I would stay away from the over and under. I would say that. I'm not an over and under guy anyway. Chicago Bears against the New York Giants. Listen, Giants 3.5-point favorites. It's no secret. This team does not trust Justin Fields when we talk about the Bears, but equally the Giants, they don't have a good quarterback in Daniel Jones, but at least they trust him to throw the football, even if that's not necessarily a good thing all the time. The defense has been playing good for the Bears, though. Typically, when you have two bad offenses going against one another, you want to go with the better defense, and I would say the better defense here is the Bears. But Brian DeBall, he has this Giants team actually playing pretty darn good. I think I would lean with the Giants. I won't take the 3.5 though. Over under is 39. Two bad offenses. Yeah, I would go with the under. Jags versus the Eagles. Holy shamoly. Let me scroll down real quick. There we go. Jags versus the Eagles. This is a different Jags team. Like, it really is. They haven't had any major injuries this season. The Eagles are also playing really good football. Eagles are 6.5. I'm not taking that. If I'm like, I might take that if I'm the Jags. If I'm the Jags, if I want to go with Jags, take the plus 6.5. Call it a day. Eagles defense is finally coming alive. Will it be enough to stop Trevor Lawrence and company? No, I think I still lean Eagles. That offense is just wild right now. And I know the Jags are playing good football, but this is a tough ask. They're playing in Lincoln Financial. Wasn't it formerly known as FedEx Field? I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, I guess I'm leading the Eagles. I really like the offense, how they're operating. Jalen Hurts is playing really good football. Overall, that offense is playing really good football. If they could get the run going, which they should be able to. Miles Sanders is playing pretty darn well. Obviously, the Eagles have a really good offensive line. So I'll lean the Eagles in this. Over under is 48. I don't know if I'm touching that over under. That's pretty close. This is what I hate. About NFL over and unders and spreads. Like, just the NFL is so good with over unders. On to the Jets versus the Steelers. Steelers 3.5-point favorites. The over under is 40.5. I buy it. I would go under. I think Steelers win this game. Listen, that defense is playing enough. Like, that defense for the Jets is sketchy enough to where, like, I think they could probably win this game. Steelers need to win this to stay in contention with teams like Baltimore, Cleveland, and even the Bengals, who are 1-2. That's just a really tough division. I don't love Mitch Trubisky, but yeah, no, I think this would be fine. I think this is a fine take here. Take the Steelers at home. Then we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens. Over under is 51.5. I buy it. I believe it. That's not a bad over under Vegas. Bills are 3.5-point favorites. Ravens playing really good football. So one of these teams are going to go to 500, and they're two very good squads. I don't know if the Bills can do enough to stop Lamar and cause problems. I could honestly say that about Josh Allen, though, in the Baltimore defense. I might just lean with the home team here. Take Ravens on the money line as an upset. This is a good game, though. Might be game of the week. They got it in the 1 o'clock slot. So, good game there. I'm gonna lean Ravens. Like, we saw what happened, like when the Ravens got up early and they let Tua come soaring back. They kind of did a similar thing with Mac Jones. So it's like, you best believe like Josh Allen could do that, but I'm gonna lean with Lamar, man. I think Lamar's been like the MVP thus far to start the year. The dude's playing really good football. And then we got the Houston Texans against the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are the 5-point favorites here. Over under is 44. I think Chargers, I don't think they'll necessarily right the ship here, but this is what they need. Texans, they do play to the level of their opponents, so this might be a closer game than the Chargers would like, but I'm still going with the Chargers here. They're a good football squad, and fun fact, Texans can't get pass rush. So I don't know how much that'll matter with the tackle situation with the Chargers. Cardinals playing the Panthers. Panthers 2-point favorites. I'm going to lean with Kyler Murray, man. I think the Cardinals, they want to win ball games. They've been able to get their offense going late in games. If they can do it early enough against the Panthers, I think that'll bode well. I know Baker, he's facing not a great secondary, more so not a great cornerback room there with the Cardinals, but Baker's just played god-awful football. Ben McAdoo is a terrible offensive play caller, at least at this point. It's a very, very simplistic what the Panthers are doing offensively. So I'll lean with the Cardinals, though. I think Panthers 2.5, though, or 2-point favorites. So I would probably take Cardinals at +2. We got the Patriots versus the Packers. Packers 10-point favorites. Just take Packers money line. I'm not trusting them to beat the Patriots by 10. Who is going to be manning the helm for the Patriots? Let's see. Who is their backup quarterback? Patriots depth chart, because it does sound like Mac Jones is out. He's got an ankle sprain. Sounds pretty severe, so likelihood he's out. No, guaranteed. I could guarantee you he is out. But Brian Hoyer or Bailey Zappi. So yeah, no, I think Packers are kind of a no-brainer here. They honestly, like, it's not like the Packers are playing great football, but they're a better team than the Patriots. I'll just say that they're a better team than the Patriots. And then we got a must-win here for Las Vegas. They take on the Broncos. Vegas are 2.5-point favorites. Give me the Broncos. They got to get it together eventually, and I think this is the team they do it against. I think they're going to be able to run the football very effectively, especially if they lean more on Javonte. It's been silly. Melvin Gordon getting all these touches. Don't know why, but the Raiders, make no mistake. This is going to be a close game. That's why it's a 2.5. But I'm just not. I can't buy into the Raiders, man. You had a must-win last week against Tennessee, and I know that that was in Tennessee, if I am to be correct. That was in Tennessee, but I can't buy into the Raiders. I just can't. And then we got Sunday Night Football being the Chiefs versus the Buccaneers. Chiefs 2.5-point favorites. This is probably the best defense that they've faced yet. I think Tom Brady could do enough to get it. I'm not going to lie. I think Tom Brady could do enough to get it done. He gets Mike Evans back this week, I believe, from suspension. And yeah, I'm going to lean with the Bucs, man. Chiefs 2-2. Hey, honestly, they had kind of a tough schedule to start the year. So, but yeah, Cardinals, Colts, Chargers, like those teams. It's not like those teams are looking that great this year, but I think the Buccaneers can get it done. Like Tom Brady, he's at his boiling point. That man he needs a good performance, and this might be what the doctor ordered. A nice home win against a AFC powerhouse. All right, and then Monday night game. Wow, Niners on prime time a lot, dude. They had the Sunday night game last week. Rams versus Niners. Niners are 2.5-point favorites. I kind of lean the Rams here. I think I would take the Rams. Give them to me on the money line. They just got more talent. And I know it's not like the offense is playing wonderful. The offensive line, this is one of the biggest tests for the offensive line. That might be, honestly, you could say the same about the Niners. Like, what was the diagnosis on Trent Williams? He'll be out for some time. Ooh, that's big. Yeah, no, I'm leaning Rams. It's gonna be a tough game, man. Niners are a tough squad. They play really good defense. This might turn into a low-scoring affair. Do I trust Jimmy G? Not a lot. Might take the under in this game, 42.5. So, yeah, we're going Rams. We're going Rams. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Be on the look for my mock draft. It be coming out soon. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.